Hey, what's going on? So Nioh 3 just got another update, and this one is a pretty clean example of the kind of patch that does not try to reinvent the game, but absolutely matters for anyone actually playing it. The biggest thing to know is that this update is focused on gameplay fixes first, and then a bunch of adjustments that make the game feel smoother moment to moment. On PS5 and Steam, one of the core fixes addresses the ninja-style martial art Footstool Jump. In the patch notes, the issue was that if you learned Footstool Jump and then pressed jump twice too quickly, while holding a sheathed weapon or an unsheathed kusarigama, the jump could get cancelled. That kind of thing sounds small on paper, but in an action game built around movement timing, that is the sort of bug that can throw off a whole fight. The patch also fixes a problem where Arts Proficiency could drastically reduce the amount of damage dealt when it was activated. On Steam specifically, there is also a controls fix for players who map Martial Art 1 controls and Martial Art 2 controls to a single keyboard or mouse key, because mid-air martial arts were not triggering properly in that setup. Beyond the bug fixes, the update adds a free bonus set of equipment, Thunderous Warrior Armor and Thunderous Ninja Attire. That reward was included to celebrate Nioh 3 reaching 1 million copies sold, while the series as a whole passed 10 million copies sold. That is a big milestone, and the game is clearly being supported like a live product that still has a lot of momentum. The patch also increases the amount of glory earned when clearing missions in multiplayer sessions, which is a nice boost for anyone spending time in co-op. It also raises the chance of higher plus value gear dropping after finishing Shogun's journey, which is important because endgame gear chasing is one of those places where even a small improvement can save a lot of grind over time. A lot of the rest of the update is about making combat feel more responsive and less fussy. Soul matching is now less punishing when you are using an item that is higher than the best value you have already obtained, because the required materials have been reduced. Ninjutsu Flame Breath is easier to land, and the same goes for certain ninjutsu and Onmyo spells when enemies are standing on terrain with uneven elevation. That may sound niche, but anyone who has watched a spell clip a wall or sail over an enemy because of bad terrain knows how annoying that can be. The patch also changes jump behavior so that pressing strong attack or quick attack immediately after jumping will still unleash those attacks instead of feeling delayed or eaten by the input window. Boss behavior has also been adjusted so they no longer focus all their attacks on a single player, which should make co-op fights feel fairer and less like one unlucky teammate is being singled out for punishment. There are also a bunch of quality of life improvements that show the developers paying attention to the day-to-day flow of the game. The lock-on camera was adjusted to make Onryoki easier to read, and Sacred Arrow amulets now refill automatically when you pray at a shrine. At the same time, the game gives players a new setting to disable automatic refilling of usable items if they do not want that behavior. Another new setting lets you enable auto-lock when you pick up gear with rare special effect icons, which is a nice little organizational tool for players who like to keep standout loot from getting lost in the pile. There is also a new system setting for switching views in the gifts section of resting rights and make an offering menus, plus a change that makes it possible to return from battle scrolls and mission mode expeditions through the main menu. Those are the kinds of improvements that do not sound dramatic in a trailer, but absolutely save friction during repeated play sessions. Inventory and blacksmith management get some love here too. The update makes it easier to notice new forgeable items by adding a half-mark on tabs with fresh crafting options at the blacksmith, and it increases the cap for certain forging materials you can carry. It also changes how Sudama soul cores are handled, so if a merchant drops 2 or more at once, the second and later ones are sent directly to the item box instead of cluttering up your immediate inventory. That is a very practical fix, because item overflow in a game like this can become a drag faster than people expect. The patch also adds support for exchanging Daidara Baki's soul core at the merchant after the myth disaster at Lake Hamana, and it adjusts the display of equipment set bonuses and soul cores so they are easier to see in menus like the Onmyo box and reward screens. One of the more noticeable themes in these patch notes is how much they polish progression and presentation at the same time. The player character is made easier to see when changing equipment appearance. Pupil type gets a new Type 6 option in character creation. Map icon condition text is now shown for all icons, and set bonus details can now appear on the reward screen for battle scrolls. Those are not the sort of fixes that win a headline on their own, but they all help the game feel less like a collection of separate menus and more like one smooth system.